When we purchase a pre-owned watch, we want to know some of its history and some of its background. Sometimes that gives us a peace of mind and security, and sometimes we find a very special story that not only intrigues us, but also makes that particular watch that much more special and unique. This is such a watch. If you don't already know, this is one of Seiko's most iconic dive watches ever produced. With its unique case shape, this watch has found fame not only in Hollywood, but also on the wrist of famous explorers traveling to the extremest conditions on Earth. But this particular watch has such a unique history that only happens 1 in a million. Stick around and I'll share its story. If you like my content and you want to see more, please help the channel by subscribing, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. They say you should never meet up with your heroes, because most likely you're going to be let down. This watch has had the complete opposite effect on me. The first time I saw this watch was on the wrist of an actor called Martin Sheen in the 1979 movie Apocalypse Now, a masterpiece produced and co-written by Francis Ford Coppola. The movie featured famous actors like Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, Martin Sheen himself, Lawrence Fishburne, Harrison Ford, Dennis Hopper, just to name a few. I was a young teenager, around 13 years old when I first saw the movie, and I said to myself, wow, what a really cool looking watch. One day I'm going to get one of these. I liked the fact that this beautiful asymmetric case, it sat on Martin Sheen's wrist and had such a pronounced presence in the entire movie. He looked tough, he looked cool, he had it all. The good looks, the James Dean hairstyle, and the coolest looking dive watch ever made. For those who don't know, during the Vietnam War, the 6105 was a real favourite amongst American GIs because it was rugged and it could withstand the rigours and torture of combat. So the troops preferred this strong Seiko 6105 divers. Now here is where the story begins of this particular watch. This particular watch was manufactured in September 1974. It was purchased by a gentleman to reward himself for his hard work and his success in life. He purchased the watch, however, on an aftermarket bracelet. I'll show you the bracelet. This is the bracelet that he basically purchased it on. It's a 1970s style bracelet, aftermarket. It's not a Seiko. It had original lugs on it where it would fit on the actual watch, just there. But he wore it on this for a couple of, well, basically for the better part of 1 year. And just at the end of the year, the strap itself, it failed. Just in there, it came apart. So what he did, he put a pin through there and bent it over and kept on using the watch. A month after that, it failed again. So he put another pin and he got frustrated. So what he did, he put the watch in a drawer and he said to himself, look, when I get the time and money, I'll go back to the shops and I'll get myself another strap, a proper strap, and I'll rewear the watch. So he put the watch aside and set it out in the desk drawer. This watch stayed in that desk drawer for the next 45 years. Fast forward now to the year 2020. Here we are. The gentleman passed away earlier this year and his son found this watch in the desk drawer and I acquired it from his son. So this watch has now been resurrected to see the light of day once more. But what makes this watch really rare and unique is it's basically almost new old stock. It's got just a little bit of marks on it from usage over that year that the gentleman wore it, but it's pretty much impossible to find this particular model today in this untouched condition. And when I say untouched, I mean untouched. It has never been serviced. In fact, my watchmaker and I, we opened up the case back and we had a look inside, and the movement is pristine. It's in superb condition. The original caseback seal itself, it's still intact. It's flattened out. It probably doesn't seal anymore, but you know what? It's in perfect condition, just superb. The dial shows the most beautiful subtle patina. It's just stunning. It shows its age. It's vintage 1960s, 1970s watch. The loom is all original. The hands are original. The loom in the hands and the lollipop, everything's original. This has never been touched. You can see the slightest oxidation on the hands, just where the loom is there. Even the crystal and the bezel themselves, they're in fantastic condition. I've given them a bit of a clean. There's no marks. The bezel itself's got one slight mark just up there, and the rest of it looks to be in fantastic original condition. So this gentleman, he babied the watch. He babied it. He wore it every day for a year, but he babied it, and it shows. It shows how much love and TLC he gave this watch. You know, the case back itself, it's you can see marks on it, and that's obviously because of this. You know, this thing here would have been sitting on the back and it would have scratched a little bit up there, but this could easily be buffed out if we wanted to restore it. But I think it looks unique. I think it's got such a lovely character, a vintage feel, and so legible, so nice to look at and feel. When people say to me, why are you so excited? I mean, I'm sure you can find something like this on the secondary market, you know, used condition, pre-owned, something in decent condition. And the short answer to that is no, pretty much no. And I'll explain why. These units all came with a lockdown crown, not a screw down crown as the current models have, but a lockdown crown. So as you can see, it doesn't turn. Now there's a little locking mechanism in there that allows it to not move, and because of that, these were rated as 150 meters, 150 meter diver. Now this gentleman, he never went swimming with this, he never went diving. So most of the units that you found out there were used for their intended purpose, for swimming and diving. And because of that, water got in. 12 months later, the seal failed and water seeped in. And the first thing that usually went on these was the hands. And that we saw from before, there's a little bit of oxidation on the hands, on the actual loom. For some reason, the loom that was used on this, it's susceptible to moisture and water. So as soon as water got into these watches, the first thing that went was the loom, the hands, then the dial, and so forth. So this is showing up fantastic condition for the fact that, like I said, nearly a 50-year-old watch, and it's got this. I put that oxidation down to moisture, condensation over the last 50 years, and it's really minimal, which is great. So the thing with the secondary hand market, if I was to find a watch like this, most of them have either been reloomed or new hands or different dials. Some of the dials out there that I've seen, aftermarket dials that have been put on these, are shocking. They don't even look good. I mean, if you look at the original dial on this, the markers are beautiful. They're flat. The loom is just applied perfectly. This has got such a unique look to it. This 6105 has got such a beautiful look to it. That's why it became iconic. It's legible. Everyone in that era loved it. Even in this era, we love this watch. We love it. It's fantastic. The only aftermarket thing on this particular watch is the strap. Obviously, because I purchased this watch off this gentleman, off the Sun, just recently. The strap itself, you know, I couldn't use the original stainless steel, as you can see. So what I did, I went and purchased an aftermarket, and I think this is period appropriate. And look, it's unique. It's lovely. You know, not many people know how good these watches are. I've been wearing it for the past week or so, and look, it's true to form. It's been gaining about 4.5-5 seconds a day. That's in wearing. This is a really nice watch. And you know, the first impression that I had by actually, when I grabbed the watch and when I started feeling in its movement, was this is rugged. This is built well. This has got not only a good movement, but it's actually built well. The bezel itself, it's bi-directional, so it goes left and it goes right with a beautiful positive click, and it locks in perfectly, lines up spot on. Everything is where it needs to be. So, and one of the things that I actually really love about the original vintage watch is this, the crystal, the way it treats the dial. If you have a look at the dial, if you have a look at the chaptering, firstly, the chaptering is black. I don't know if you can see it in there. We'll zoom up a little bit. There you go. The chaptering itself is black inside. And if you notice the seconds markers, they're actually printed on the actual dial. So when you place this thing straight up and look at it, there's a reflection on the outside. So you've got the minute markers or the second markers on the dial, and there's a reflection of them in the crystal's bevel. So that bevel, that, you know, this is a double dome, so there's a subtle dome on the top and a dome on the bottom, but the crystal itself creates a unique effect which shows the seconds markers extend out all the way out to the actual bezel itself. So that's unique. That's lovely. That is superb. So, like I said, I love the fact that Martin Sheen wore this in the entire movie, and this watch basically found me. I didn't go looking for it; it came to me, and I've always wanted to handle one. I've always wanted to play with it, to wear it, and look. So far, I'm enjoying it. I think it's lovely. I think it's a really important part of Seiko history. This is pretty much along with the 62 MAS. This came 1-2 generations afterwards. I think this set everything off for the current cushion case SRPs that we have today, the Turtles and so forth, the 6309s that translated onto the SRPs. This is basically the thing that instigated it, with its beautiful extended lug guards, its fantastic cushion case, and the way it sits on the wrist. So I love this watch, and I just wanted to share some history about this particular watch, and just to educate some people on some of its background. So look, I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and in future I'll be sharing a little bit more about this and the comparison to the new models that are out there. So we'll see you guys next time.